Also new tonight, an advocacy group for deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind people says Bexar County is not doing enough to help deaf voters.
The group says voters who need interpreter services don't have the same access as everyone else.
The Night Team's Garrett Berger tells us what they want to see change.
American Sign Language is a language unto itself, separate from English. So the ballot voters are faced with is really in a second language for deaf voters, and their ability to actually understand it varies.
Most of them who rely on ASL, that ballot might as well be in Swahili.
Kay Chido said her nonprofit organization, No Barriers Communications, has been getting many messages from the deaf community, concerned about not having access to voting close to them. Voters can bring their own interpreter with them to the polls. And if a voter is deaf and doesn't have someone who can come with them, the Secretary of State's office says they should contact election officials before the election and ask for assistance. It also says all polling places in Texas must be accessible. But Chido says deaf voters in Bexar County are being told the only voting site where they can get interpreter help is at the elections office on Frio Street.
There are some deaf people who live very far away and have no transportation, and there's no way to get on a bus, or it would be incredibly time consuming in order to get over here. And so it's not an effective way for them to vote, and not an equal access the way that any other person could vote.
Chido says that at least she wants election officials to get iPads to every early voting site, which could be used to access video remote interpreter services. And they need poll workers better trained to deal with deaf people, and to read the ballot aloud to give the interpreters something to interpret, and give deaf voters the same choice in locations everyone else has.
They would never tell someone, if you use a wheelchair, you can only come to one location in Bexar County. So they're angry and they're upset. And sadly enough, I think they're really hurt.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
And KSAT did reach out to Elections Administrator Jackie Callanan through a spokeswoman about this issue today. We were told she would answer any questions during a pre-planned news conference scheduled for tomorrow morning.